The House Judiciary passing an amendment directing the Justice Department to provide documents related to former FBI Director James Comey's leaking and mishandling of a federal investigation by former Attorney General Loretta Lynch. Some members also introducing a bill that would require the Attorney General to appoint a special counsel in the Clinton email investigation. Our next guest was a co-sponsor of that amendment. Joining me now, Congressman Jim Jordan, who serves on both the Judiciary and Oversight Committees and is a member of the Freedom Caucus. Sir, thanks for joining us.
You bet. You bet.
Do you think there's an appetite for this now?
I do. You know, when the FBI director testified a few weeks back and said that at the direction of the Attorney General, he misled the American people when he called the Clinton investigation a matter. So stop and think about this, Melissa. You have the Attorney General of the United States directing the FBI director to go out and say something to the American people that is not accurate, and they did it in the middle of a presidential campaign. Now, why would they do that? Because they wanted Clinton to win. This is the same Attorney General who met with Hillary Clinton's husband on the tarmac 3 days before Hillary Clinton was to be interviewed by the FBI. She did that because they were trying to help Clinton's campaign activity. So this is something the American people talk about all the time, and particularly in our district, and they want to get the facts on all of these important issues.
See, I'm always more stuck on the obvious pay for play. I mean, maybe it's just because I'm a money girl, but when you look at back in 2010, when Bill Clinton was paid $500,000 to go to Russia and make that speech at the very same time that Hillary Clinton was opposing sanctions on Russia, they're married. 50% of that money goes directly to her, $250,000. I mean, to me, that's so much easier to lay out and explain as blatant, almost bribery. I mean, that's pay for play.
And those elements are on the resolution as well. We asked the special counsel, the standalone bill we introduced yesterday, we asked the special counsel to investigate all that. The amendment we had in the committee yesterday that passed in the committee asked for documents relative to all those issues, to the issues you described there relative to Clinton Foundation and what went on with the speeches and payments and everything else, relative to Jim Comey, Loretta Lynch, also Cheryl Mills and the wonderful, amazing immunity deal that she got by the Justice Department or from the Justice Department. We asked we asked the special counsel to look into all of those issues and the Justice Department to give us documents related to all of those issues.
I want to move on to health care before we run out of time. What do you think is going to happen here? Are you going to be able to come together and get something to go over the finish line? You guys aren't going to go home until you get it done, are you?
We called to stay. You know, several weeks ago, the Freedom Caucus said we should stay in August to get our work done. We will see what comes out of the Senate. I am not that enthused about this so-called skinny thing, skinny bill. If they send that to us, you know, we could go to conference. There's the old, what's the old jingle? You know, I'm just a bill sitting here on Capitol Hill. That's how it works. You go to conference, and maybe we can get something closer to what we told the American people we were going to do when they elected us, which was repeal it and then replace it. So let's see how it plays out the next few days. I also want to mention, I loved your reaction to the BAT being dead. This was a new tax that was going to go on the American people.
Idea.
It sure was, and it's I'm doing the, I think you said yoo-hoo and rejoice, so I'm doing the same thing.
To me, that was a decoy. It was kind of like the thing that you put out there that makes everybody scream and holler and say, oh, you can't, so then you can negotiate all the rest of the stuff and sort of give away the thing you never meant to do.
Maybe. Maybe, but there was a lot of important folks in the Congress pushing that. And the second thing I would say is this whole idea that we have to function in a revenue-neutral environment. Remember what revenue neutral is. That's a fancy way of saying the tax burden stays the same. We just shift around who pays what. And in that scenario, I've seen this play out. The connected class here in Washington gets a good deal, but middle-class families typically get a bad deal out of that. So let's not abide in that straitjacket.
No, I have two solutions for that. I mean, one is dynamic accounting. We always you calculate it in a static fashion, as if cutting taxes doesn't create growth when it so obviously does. Also, why don't we starve down the beast of government? I mean, why are we concerned about feeding the government the same amount of my money and their money? You know, that doesn't, why is that a goal? That's a terrible goal.
I couldn't agree more. This revenue neutral framework is not good, but deficit neutral is. Let's cut taxes on families. Let moms and dads and families keep more of their money. Let's lower the corporate rate. After all, we have the highest in the world. That's not a good position to be in. Let's lower the corporate rate. And then let's cut some spending. That's what we need. We need to create an environment that's conducive to economic growth. So do that and then cut spending.
You know, I heard Steve Mnuchin has like 100 people chained to their desks in Treasury, and they're working on this around the clock. You guys aren't going to go home for the year without doing this tax cut and getting it to take effect in 2017, are you?
We have to do it. This is something the American people deserve. They deserve to keep more of their money. It's all about freedom. It's all about letting them chase down their goals and their dreams with their resources. So we need to do that, not to mention the simple fact that that's what we told them we were going to do when they elected us. So you never can go wrong when you keep your word. So let's stay here and keep our word and get this done.
Remember that the market will punish you if you guys don't fulfill that promise. We're counting on you. Congressman Jim Jordan, thank you for joining us.
You bet. Thank you.